How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Joe the Geek. Welcome back to the channel for a bit of a different video this time. So those of you that watch my channel regularly, please do like, subscribe, hit the bell button, all that kind of jazz. Those of you that watch my channel regularly will know I've recently put out 2 videos about some CGC books I've got back. Around about 15 or so in total. So these are books that I've sent off to CGC for official grading. Now, I did mention in those videos that I was going to do a little bit of a follow-on to those two videos to talk about comic book sales, selling comic books. Lots of people think that you can make your fortune selling comics, and I don't know whether that's true or not. So what I thought I would do was talk you through how I keep track of what I've spent, how I keep track of what the books cost us, and then whether or not I've made any money if I was to choose to sell it. Worth saying, I haven't necessarily chose to sell some of these books. This is just really for shits and giggles, to have a little look-see to see if you can or you can't make money selling comics. Worth saying, all of these books were bought raw. They were all then pressed. They were then sent off to CGC for encapsulation, for grading. And it's also worth saying that when I've looked at the value of the books now, I haven't used GPA or anything like that. I've literally gone to eBay to see what the books have recently sold for, and I've gotten an estimated price really. That's because I'm a lazy bastard. Now, you might say, oh, it's not detailed enough, or it's not in depth enough. This is just a quick, rough and ready video to get a rough idea. So if you're expecting a real in-depth cost analysis, this ain't the place for you. This is just me having a quick nib. Okay, let's have a look-see. So you'll see that I keep a track of all of my books that I buy raw. I kind of try to know how much I've paid for them. So you'll see along the top columns here, I've got the book, I've got the issue number, I've then got the price I paid for it. I've then got the pressing costs, and again, this is a rough kind of estimate. What I do is I just kind of send a load off, and then I'll break it down and roughly split the cost, including postage, amongst the books that have come back. I've then got the slabbing costs, and again, you might be looking at that number and thinking £25. That's because, again, I kind of just incorporate into that the whole postage fees, backwards and forwards, and all the rest of it, and I break it down and split whatever my bill is to the number of books I've got. So yes, it's not an identical number, but it's a rough number. I then put down the total cost, so how much this book has cost me to get graded, to then get to have pressed, and how much I actually paid for the original book. And I then write down the grade I got with it. So whatever the overall grade was that came back from good old CGC. We'll then look at the value of the book. And like I said, this is where I literally use eBay recent sales, or I have a little look and see if I can find ones that are up for sale at the moment, if I can't find a recent sale book. My spreadsheet then calculates the profit. So it looks at my total cost, the value of the book, and it gives us a profit or loss estimate in the last column there. So I can see whether I've made money or I've lost money. Okay, so let's have a little look-see at some of the books that came back from CGC recently, and we'll have a little nib and see whether we've made money or not. As you can see, first book on the list is good old Secret Wars 8. Secret Wars 8 is a one for my personal collection. This is a book that obviously is the first appearance of the black costume. A stunning, stunning book. I bought this one raw ages ago, paid about £50 for it, as you can see on the spreadsheet there. Press cost 16, slab cost 25, total cost £91. This is all in pounds, by the way. American viewers, you'll have to convert it to dollars. Came back a grade 9.4. Am I happy with that? I am happy with that. I'm twisting my chops. That's not a bad grade for that particular book. So, the total value of that book, and looking at recent sales, is around about £250. Now, I think that's pretty reasonable. So if we look at my total cost of £91 and my value at present of £250, I have made, if I chose to sell that book, around about £159 profit on the one book. Now that's good going. Now that to me is a hit. You're not always going to get those hits, so you do need to be very, very aware of that. I'm not going to go through all these books, but you can see we've got Wolverine Limited Series, you've got He-Man there. Let's have a look at one that I've made a miss on. So if we look at, my Hulks, my Hulk 449s. These were bought because it's the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. Thought they might go up in value. They might still. I paid far too much for these books. If you look at the first line there of Hulk 449, paid £129 for one of them and £150 for one of them. When you add all the costs in, that gives us a total cost of £191 and £170. So pricey books already. The grades came back 9.6 and a 9.2. So as you can see in the last column there, because of the value currently of the book, I've lost money on them. I've hit around about £155 loss on one and £148 loss on another. So that kind of balances out, doesn't it, in terms of what I've made on some of the other books. And that's the danger you're going to get into if you're starting to look and play the whole speculation market and stuff like that. Like I say, I don't think there's anything wrong with comic spec and selling books on, but I do think you need to be cautious, because if anything's taught me over the last few years, spec doesn't always equal profit. So you need to be quite cautious of that. So that's my chart. Please have a little look-see at it, see what you think. I could do more complicated sums on that. I could add additional bits and bobs in. But like I said, I'm our bloody lazy. This, for me, does the trick in kind of justifying in my mind whether I'm making or selling, making or losing money on some of the books. And the truth is, when you look at that chart, it's a bit random. You have to be a pretty switched-on person to be able to predict the future. And I cannot do that. So I buy what I like. I buy stuff I think might go up in value, predominantly key appearances, and you win some and you lose some. But focusing on this recent submission to CGC, you'll see I submitted a whole host of books. The total cost, including all of the grading, all of the shipping, all of the pressing for this particular lot comes to £1,803. If I'm going off eBay values, the total price, if I was to sell everything at current price, comes in at £3,205, which gives me a profit of £1,402 if I was to sell these books. That's not bad. If you can get that kind of magic where you manage to get more making money than losing money, you can get quite decent numbers. There we go. So, ask the question at the start, can you make money selling comic books? You can, if you can be bothered. A lot of effort goes into trying to work out the market, as it were, trying to predict the future. A lot of effort goes into actually getting books at a good price, getting them pressed and cleaned, getting them graded, the shipping from the UK back and forth, all that kind of stuff. It's a long process, but at the end of the day, if you persevere, you can make a tidy little bit of money. I don't necessarily do that. Those that watch the channel know that I predominantly collect because I like collecting comic books. So my main motivation normally is because I like the books I'm sending off to be graded. Most of these books will stay in my collection. Okay, hope that's been of interest to you. Interested to know your thoughts. Interested to know how you collect and store your data in terms of whether you're making money or losing money within this hobby of ours. Let us know in the comments whether you think this has been an interesting video and you'd like to see more stuff like this. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Take care.